Now, how did the molecules of life arise?
And we go a little something like this. Hit it.
Hello lovelies, today we're taking another look at RipCrypt, and I might do some more on it as well to experiment with format and content on this channel. Because, you know, I see some people go on for weeks and weeks and weeks breaking down every aspect of a book. I don't think I'll ever do that. But I think it is worth looking in a bit more depth at some things. So this being a relatively slim volume of compact and bijou size seems like a good place to start. Yeah, so this was a Kickstarter. A very nice young man contacted me and asked me to look at it a while back. He sent me a preview, sort of prototype copy, which is this one. And I did, and I quite like the idea. I don't know really how much change was made for the publication edition, but we'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, nice little hardback book. The conceit of the whole thing is doing dungeons as a sprint, as a sort of very quick thing to do, so that instead of perhaps breaking out a board game of an evening, plastic, you might instead break out RipCrypt for some role-playing fun, and it kind of compresses the whole dungeon raiding experience down into something quicker. That's the idea. Mrs. Grimm always gets on at me for using my teeth to open things, but you know, they're handy and scissors are somewhere else. So as part of the kind of extra rewards here, got a nice holographic skull sticker which may go on the laptop, and a more normal greeny gooey one, and the logo, and a little pin badge. Now, I quite like little pin badges. I got a nice one from Necro Molds as well, and they go on the old battle vest nicely. And I like the way in which, if they're suitably visible, if they're suitably identifiable, even at a distance, lets you tell who at the con or at the store or whatever plays the games you like. So if only they were easier to ship and put together and pack and put with things. So this is the older version. I'll just do a quick flip through. Sent some other little prototype cards and things for me to look at. You can get a basic idea of how it's put together as I just flip through. I don't think there was much in the way of changes between this and the final production one. This one runs 150 pages. I think the actual final version runs a little more. Yeah, 152 pages all told. It's just slightly tidied up and changed from when I reviewed it. So if you want a review of the system and everything, you can go back and check up on that. It just feels slightly more tidied up, slightly more together. There's still no index, but the contents seems a little bit better. As I say, the whole idea of the thing is a very basic character, sort of halfway between a character and a playing piece, I guess, really. And you sprint run dungeons is the idea. And you play this in place of a board game, is the idea. Though you could play this as a more fulsome RPG if you wanted to, or you could strip it right back even more to the core experience. So to me, this seemed like a good bet for single-player gaming, because a lot of it is kind of built-in, quasi-random, and because you're sprinting through the dungeon, you don't have a lot of time to stop and think about whether something really makes a great deal of sense or not, which solves a lot of problems. It is a mostly fully featured game. Terminology takes a little bit of getting used to. It could do with more monsters, but you know, there is an example little dungeon there for you. It uses D8s, which is a little bit peculiar. To me, D8s never really roll satisfyingly. I think it's because they're two D4s welded together, and D4s are unsatisfying. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah, there's not a huge amount to say that I haven't already said before. But what I will probably do is take this out for a single player spin. Note down what happens in the session, and then dramatize it to an extent as a sort of example of play, in the same way I have a couple of other games here and there over the years, and see how that goes, and see if people respond to it. I'm thinking about, you know, where I turned single player game sessions into sort of mini radio plays almost. Some people really like those, but they don't necessarily get a lot of views and traction. This also came with a little mini GM screen. Let me just roll the whole thing past your viewpoint. Yeah, already got muck on it. And this has all the references which are on the end papers and in the beginning of the book here. So with so little change, as far as I can see, unless Keenan wants to get in touch and let me know about any egregious changes they made, I now have two versions of the book and a GM screen, which should make referencing around the table easy if I ever get a multiplayer game of this together at any point. So yeah, I'm going to give it a go as a single player game and see how that goes, and I'll present that on the channel and let you know what I think, in addition to the pre-existing review. Yeah, this is a slight improvement, not enough to change the score, I don't think. It's fairly well presented and has a strong artistic and graphical sense of what it is exactly. If you backed it, you should be getting your stuff any day now. If you don't have it already, I didn't go full bore on backing it, but the GM screen is pleasantly solid and well put together. Perhaps a little bit too crowded for easy reference, but the information to play the game is the information you need to play the game, so there's not a lot you can really do about that. So yeah, look forward to that. I wanted to do something easy today because it is the hottest day of the year here in the UK. Yeah, we don't get many of them, so I will be spending the rest of the day naked with a fan directed at my particularly sweaty parts. And I will see you tomorrow for an off-topic Tuesday, probably, if something in the news particularly catches my eye. Zang. Pulp Nova is a collection of short stories in the old pulp style but with a modern twist. You should find something here you like, from western to mythos horror to science fiction. You can get Pulp Nova at Drive-Thru Fiction, on Amazon, or in hard copy from lulu.com.